Okay, a very good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is fine. In our previous class, we have done the recall of lesson number 3, poverty as a challenge. And in today class, we are going to just uh, discuss the question answers of the same, the NCRT questions, which is given after the lesson in your book. So these question answers are there of your NCRT book. First question in your NCRT book was, describe how poverty line is estimated in India. So how poverty line is estimated in India? The answer will be, while determining the poverty line in India, a minimum or level of food requirements, clothing, footwear, fuel, light, educational and medical requirements should be there with all the people for the subsistence means for the living. These things are very essential for people. These physical quantities are multiplied by their prices in rupees, and these physical they are multiplied by the prices in rupees. So the present formula for food requirement while estimating the poverty line is based on the desired calorie requirements. As in the lesson we have seen that according to the physical work, the requirement of calorie is there for each person. So if the person is working very hard, likewise the example was given of the rural areas, people, most of the people are indulged in agricultural activities where physical need is there. That means physical uh, requirement of calorie is more. That is why they require the calorie more. So food items such as cereals, pulses, vegetables, milk, oil, sugar, etc. together provide these needed calories. So whatever the calories a person requires according to the physical work he or she is doing, so according to that only the food items, the intake of food items should be there. The need for calorie depends on the age also, the work done by the person. So the age, this calorie requirement depends on the age factor also, that if the age means person is young and doing physical work, indulge in physical activities, earning member is there, then the calorie requirement will be more for that particular person. The accepted average calorie requirement in India is 2,400 calories per person per day in rural areas, and 2,100 calories per person per day in urban areas. This is the main differentiation of calories requirement, because in rural areas people are indulged in hard work, physical activities, which they do in the agriculture farms and all. Then the calorie requirement of the people in rural areas is higher than that of people living in urban areas, because they do more physical work as compared to the urban people. And on the basis of the calculations for the year 2011-12, the poverty line for the person was fixed at rupees 816 per month for the rural areas and 1000 per month for the urban areas. So this was the answer for the first question of your textbook NCRT question. Next question is, do you think that the present methodology of poverty estimation is appropriate? Whatever present methodology of poverty estimation, that which category of people should be included as below poverty line, which can be considered, which people can be, group of people can be considered above poverty line, that method of calculating is appropriate or not? So the answer will be no, the present methodology of poverty estimation is not appropriate. because it takes into account only the basic needs of food, clothing, fuel, etc. Means if people are having the basic fulfillment of basic needs, that is food, clothing, and fuel, then they for the subsistence level, for the living, if these things are present, that means they will not be counted under the poverty, below the poverty line. But the quality of these basic necessities is the lowest quality available. Though each and every person is having food, clothing, and fuel, but the quality of these things is less. So we say that the method, present methodology of poverty estimation is not fit. The amount which is fixed as the poverty line does not include the margin for the constant price fluctuations. Means fluctuation is there. Sometimes the particular product is sold in the large high prices, sometimes in the low price. So the price fluctuation is there and it can't decide the poverty line. The poverty line should include some correction for inflation and the market fluctuation. So this is the second answer. Are you able to understand? Write yes in the chat box if you are able to hear and understand what I am explaining the answers. Okay, fine. Okay, okay. Then now coming to the third question, describe poverty trends in India since 1993. Now this is the third question of your textbook, that is describe poverty trends in India since 1973. 1993. Now, as per the data, there has been a substantial decline in the poverty. According to the data, if we see, we will find out that there is a decline in poverty ratio in India from 45% in 1993-94 to 37.2% in 2004. 5. So this is the certain decline of the poverty ratio, means the standard way of living people has maintained the way of living. There was a further decline from 37.2% in 2004-5 to 21.9% in 2011-12. Although the number of people, poor people, declined. Now, this decline in poverty ratio means here number of poor people are declining. From 1973 to 1993, there was a significant reduction in the number of poor, and that is in 2004-5. And further, poverty ratio always remained higher in rural areas as compared to the urban areas. Again, the poverty ratio is little bit higher in the rural areas as compared to the urban areas. That means poor we see in rural areas more. If the present trend continue, the people below poverty line may come down to less than 20% in the next few years. If the is way of standard, if the minimum substantial level will be increased, means if each and every person will get proper food, education, health facilities and all, then definitely we can say that poverty ratio in India will decrease. Next, fourth question, discuss the major reasons of poverty in India. This we have discussed in detail when I was teaching you the lesson. So, discuss the major reasons of poverty in India. The major reasons are colonial rule, that is, India went through a long phase of low economic development. Means long phase means a long stage of low economic development under the British colonial administration, when we as Indians were under the supremacy of Britishers. That rule was called as British colonial administration, and at that time we had suffered a lot with the low economic development in India, and thus the policies of colonial government ruined traditional handicrafts and discouraged development of industries like textiles. So the whatever policies were made under this British colonial administration, under this British rule, those policies were for the profit making of Britishers only, and that is why it ruined, it declined the traditional handicrafts of India and also discourage the development of industries like textile. Then the second point, high growth in population is also one of the major reasons for poverty in India. Now, this is the rapid growth of population, particularly among the poor, is one of the major reasons for the Indian poverty, because poor people are illiterate and have a traditional outlook also. Poor people are very much illiterate. They don't have education, or only little bit education also if they are having, but they are stick to their traditional outlook. Hence they are either ignorant of birth control measures, means whatever birth control measures are there, they don't know about that because they are illiterate. They are not getting proper education about all these measures, and are not convinced of the need of birth control also. They don't want uh, to control the birth of the child also, and moreover they consider a male child as an asset. And due to the want of a male child, uh, they the population, they help in the growing of the population, and that is as a source of income, a source of security in old age. They think that if the male child will be born, then uh, it will be the source of income for the family, the add for the in money in the family, income in the family. And also they think, the poor people think that it is a source of security. They might in old age they will be secure, means they will be looked after by the male child. So this is the reason, as high growth rate in the population. Next, low grade. For this colonial rule, first point, this is that okay, had undergone, when we as Indians were under the British rule. You want to be explain this colonial rule again? I will explain just now, but this today's video will be uploaded on the student portal also. You can check it from there also, but just now I'll explain again, no problem for me. So India went through a long phase of low economic development under the British colonial rule. When we as Indians were under the supremacy of British rule, we had suffered a lot of low economic development, because the Britishers were the one who were framing the policies, rules and regulations just for their own profit making only. To And that is why, to earn the profit, they had ruined, they had just destroyed our traditional handicrafts. And they also discouraged the development of industries like textiles, so that India cannot be making means development economically also, and it will be totally dependent on the Britishers. That is why the British colonial administration, there was low economic development. Then next year, high growth rate population was there. I had explained you. Now low rate of economic development. The actual rate of growth in India has always been below the required level. Means whatever the actual growth rate should be there in economic development, it was always below the level. And it has been around 4% since 1951. This has resulted in less job opportunities due to low rate of economic development. Less job opportunities are there, and this has been accompanied by high growth rate of population also. Then unemployment was there. Another important factor for the incidence of high poverty in India is high degree of unemployment and underemployment. Means when people are not getting proper job, this is also be the main reason for the poverty in India. The job seekers, the people who are finding the job, are increasing at a higher rate than the increase in the employment opportunities. That means the employment opportunities are less than the job seekers in the country. That is why unemployment has become the major reasons for the poverty in India. Next, the fifth one, unequal distribution. Now, here, although national income of India has been increasing since 1951, it was not properly distributed among different sections of the society. So, the unequal distribution of income in India is there, and this is also becoming the main reason. A large proportion of increased income has been pocketed by the few rich, means whatever the income, if at all income increase is there, national income has increased, it had been given only, or has been in the hands of only few people within their reach only, and they have become richer more, and the majority of people live below the poverty line. And when the all this unequal distribution of national income is there, then the rich has become richer, but the poor people has not benefited at all from this increase in national income, and thus they fall below the poverty line. Clear? Now, last point in this is social factor. Various social factors like caste system, joint family system, religious beliefs, laws of inheritance, etc., have blocked the path of national development also. So many people are indulged in participating in religious beliefs, religious traditions, fulfilling the customs and traditions, festivals, and so much money is means given in festivals and all, spend it in so this can be also the reason, means the people are not having that much of income uh, in on the other side they are spending so much on these various beliefs, customs and traditions, and thus they fall under debt and comes in poverty, below poverty line. Now, identify the social and economic groups which are most vulnerable to poverty in India. Now, the social and economic groups are: first, scheduled caste household, the people SCV, in short, we can say SC, that is scheduled caste household. Then, scheduled tribes, the tribal people, they are also most vulnerable, means they can come in near future, they can come under poverty. Then, the economic groups are rural agricultural laborer household and urban casual laborer household. So these are the social and economic groups which can, in coming near future, they can be under the poverty, below poverty line. Next question is: sixth, give an account of interstate disparities of poverty in India. Now, interstate disparities are the proportion of poor is not the same in every state in India. We have seen in the lesson that the proportion of poor is not same in every state, though there has been a decline in poverty in every since from early 70s. The poverty ratio varies from state to state, means the poverty ratio is different in different states. In 20 states, the union territories, the poverty ratio is less than the national average of 26. In others, the poverty ratio are higher than the national average, and among this, Chhattisgarh and Bihar continue to be the two poorest states. So, which two continue to be the poorest state? Chhattisgarh and Bihar. Both rural and urban poverty are quite high in these states. On the other hand, if we say that the states like Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Jammu Kashmir, Kerala, Punjab, West Bengal have shown a significant decline in poverty. That means the standard little bit had improved of the people. Now, public distribution of food grains focus on human resource development. Focus on human resource development means how human resource development is being made by investing the income in the investing the income for education of the people, for giving the uh, proper health facilities to the people. In this way, we can increase the human resource development. Then, high agricultural development and land reform measures are some of the factors responsible for the decline in the poverty in these states. So, these are the factors which are responsible for the decline in poverty in the states. Clear? Next, describe the global poverty trends. Now, here global poverty trends that people in developing countries living in less than 1.25 per day has fallen from 43% in 1990 to 22% in 2008. And there has been a substantial reduction in global poverty also, not only here in state wise, but global poverty also. However, the reduction is marked with the great regional differences is there due to the rapid economic growth and massive investment in human resource development. This only I had explained that the economic growth and massive investment in human resources will be there, then the poverty will definitely decline. Poverty ratio will definitely decline. Then, on the other hand, in South Asian countries like Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan, the decline has not been that rapid, not all at once. In Saharan African, poverty has declined from 51% in 1981 to 47% in 2008, and it has also resurfaced in some of the former socialist countries like Russia, where officially it was not existent earlier. So this is the global poverty trend, that if the investment is made for the economic growth and investment is made in the human development, resources development, then only we can come out of the poverty. Next, describe the current eighth question. Describe the current government strategy of poverty alleviation. Now, here, removal of poverty is one of the major objectives of Indian development strategy. The current government strategies of poverty alleviation are: first, promotion of economic growth. Economic growth should be promoted, and many anti-poverty programs have been started. Among this is first, uh, Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana, in short PMRY, and in this program was started in 1993 and aims at self-employment opportunities, means to encourage the people who want the self-employment for the educated unemployed youth in rural areas and small towns. So this was basically started in the rural areas and small towns for the self-employment opportunities. Next, Pradhan Mantri Gramoday Yojana. This also programs was launched in 2000, and aim was creating and improving basic services like primary health, primary education, shelter, drinking water, rural electrification. These basic facilities, basic services should be provided, and that is why this program was started. Next, Rural Employment Generation Program. This program was launched in 1995 and aims at creating, this again aims at creating a self-employment opportunities in rural areas and urban towns. The National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, NREGA. This act was passed in September 2005 and assured, this program assured the employment every year to every rural household in 200 districts, and later the scheme would extend to 600 districts. Means it has assured the employment for 100 days for the rural household, and first it was for the 200 districts, later on it was extended to 600 district. So these were all the NCRT questions. Now the answer the following in briefly is there in this. Uh, uh, Before I continue, I just want to instruct you that these NCRT questions all till 9, 1 to 9, all question answers you have to complete it in the notebook NCRT questions and do it neatly and clearly. In PDF, I am going to send this also and the extra question answers also. And in our next class, what we will start, I will inform you in the group. Clear? Now we'll continue with the question answers of ninth. What do you understand by human poverty? Now, human poverty is a concept that goes beyond the limited view of poverty as lack of income. That means lack of income is there. That means human poverty is the concept of poverty is there. It refers to the denial of political, social, economic opportunities to an individual to maintain a reasonable standard of living. That means the people who are under poverty, they are denied for the access of political, social, and economic opportunities for raising their way of living, standard of living. And illiteracy, lack of job opportunities, lack of access to proper healthcare, sanitation, caste, gender discrimination are all components of human poverty. So, what are the components of human poverty? Illiteracy, lack of job opportunities, lack of access to proper healthcare and sanitation, caste and gender discrimination, etc. They are the components of human poverty. Next, who are the poorest of the poor? Women, children, and children also, especially, we can talk about girl child and the elder people in the poor family are regarded as the poorest of the poor. And why they are regarded as the poorest of the poor? Because they are systematically denied equal access to resources available to the family. Then the main features of the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005 are: the act assures 100 days employment every year to every rural household, means for 100 days, for at least 100 days, the individual will be employed in every rural household. Second, initially covering 200 district it was, and then later on 600 districts was uh, covered in this program. Then one third of the job was reserved for the women also. In this, one more program was one more facility was that the woman job for the woman was also reserved. Now it also aimed at sustainable development to address the cause of drought, deforestation, and soil erosion. So development can be done if the cause is drought, deforestation, or soil erosion. Then the share of SCs and ST, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and women was 23%, 17%, and 53% respectively. That means 23% for scheduled caste, 17% for scheduled tribe, and 53% for women. And under this, the average wage has, wage means income, average income has increased from rupees 65 in 2006-7 to rupees 132 in 2013-14. So that's all for the today's class. uh, Please, I will send this in the PDF form. NCRT questions, all you have to do it in the notebook. And extra question also I'm going to send, that you need not do the extra questions. Those you just keep it for your knowledge and just go through them. Now, before leaving the class, type once again present in the chat box so that I can understand who all are present till the last for today's attendance. With your full name, type present with your full name. Yes, Gunjan, Sneha Chaudhary, Nishika. Yes, everybody have typed present with the full name. Okay, Gauranshi, Gunjan. Okay, fine.